Good morning, viewers. Welcome to the first session of Fireside chat series conducted by Jumboat Consulting. Jumboat Consulting, in its pursuit to support veteran transitioning, will be conducting chats with veterans who have successfully transitioned into corporate careers as well as entrepreneurship to understand their transition journey. We will also be conducting interactions with HR and business leaders who have hired and managed veterans to understand how they look at the veteran talent, how the corporate looks at veteran talent for the insights and learnings for the transitioning veterans. Over to you, Jyoti.
Thank you, Abhishek sir. With that introduction of Jumboat Consulting, let us now talk about the man of the moment, Colonel Romil Barthwal, a veteran and a man of many skills. He is a paratrooper. He is also an Everester. Besides this, he has worn many hats. He has been somebody who's climbed multiple summits, and Everest obviously being the crowning jewel out of that. A marathoner, not just an ordinary one, but an ultra marathoner, and amongst the only 7 few male Indians who has run in the Boston Marathon in that particular year. Besides, he runs a company called Boots and Crampons, and one interesting designation that he has is chief climbing officer. So obviously, we'll learn more about it. He is an influencer, a motivational speaker, and basically he's 10 persons rolled into one. So let's have more about him. He lives the Ikigai life, which is basically loving what you do and having a mindful and peaceful existence with yourself. So let's move forward and understand about this gentleman and what has been his journey so far. So my first question to you, Colonel Romil, is what is it that keeps you motivated and passionate about your mountaineering skills or marathon or adventurous life that you live? What is that things that motivates you and passionate and pushes you on to do all of this?
Good morning, everyone, and thanks, Jyoti and Kulshrestha, for inviting me here. It's an honor to always address for these veterans, would-be veterans. It takes me back last year. Once I was doing my transition from IIM Lucknow, I was the placement head there, and the kind of initiatives you guys are doing, we used to have it every Sunday. Every weekend we used to have some talks, some interactions, gaining experiences, because we realized, in my case and few others, being HNDs, we joined Forge at the age of 18. We hardly know anything which is outside. And in fact, last week, once I was addressing the next batch of BGMP, I was telling them that welcome to the first job, because army, you realize, is not a job. Once you enter, it's kind of lifestyle, your family. So that's why once I address all of you, it's less formal and it's more kind of a family address. So I'll take it that way. Coming on to the question to start with, passionate and keeps you pushing comes automatically, because this is something which I wanted to do. And I've realized once I finished my 12th, the only reason I wanted to join army was that I never wanted a desk job, wherein you come to office at 9, behind the office files for the whole evening and go back, bloated stomach and all. So I never wanted that kind of life. So I wanted something where I can do the physical stuff as well. So this dilemma again came once I was leaving the army, because as you grow old, the sickness, disease, the health issues keep arising. So I wanted that, if that was my mindset at 18, why should it change once I'm leaving now? So that's why I thought, let's do something which will keep me physically active. Even if I don't, feel motivated to do it, I have no option but to stay fit, because I would lead teams. Next week we are again going to Himachal for an expedition, which I'm leading. So this way, every morning I'll have to get up, I'll have to do something so as to keep myself fit. And as you just said, I feel so passionate and connected to it that automatically, the feeling is visible. I'm happy what I'm doing. So that's why this keeps me motivated for whatever I'm doing. So it's basically, if you love what you do, you'll do well. If not monetarily, at least inside, you'll feel good. Your surroundings will be good. Your family will be happy. You will not be cranky that, you had a bullshit from office. That's why you're percolating down to your kids as well. So it automatically shows if you love doing something, it shows inside you. So that keeps me motivated and passionate.
Thank you, Colonel Romil. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Ikigai personified for you in terms of Colonel Romil. And I could only think of one song, 18 Till I Die. I think that's what his mantra is. With that, I'll let Abhishek sir, proceed with the next question for Colonel Romil.
Thanks, Jyoti. So as Jyoti said, 18 till I die, and while Romil sir was speaking about his passion, I was wondering what keeps him so fit and good looking. So we will delve deeper into his fitness regime later. Now I would like to understand from him about his journey in defense.
Right. So that's a great one, because whenever I address people, I say the same thing, that once I joined NDA after 12th, I didn't know how to wear a shorts. Those who are HNDs know that, how you're taught kaise pehna hai, how to wear the KDs and all. So that was my thing. So whatever I am today, good or bad, it's because of the upbringing of my seniors, of my, the organization I've been with. So everything I did, I owe it to Forge. That's beyond doubt, and that can never be denied, till my last breath. I owe it to that. To give you an example, now I've done marathons, ultra marathons and all, but then in my NDA days, since I was not from any military school or something, purely a public school, so my physical standards were horrible. I used to be 6th, 7th enclosure. That's what my squad mates these days kick my butt, saying that, because of you, we used to lose our, championships or whatever, and now you are doing such things. So that's part of life. But then, having said that, I always enjoyed, I always pushed myself doing it, even though I was not good at it. So that's been my journey. To tell you a fact, NDA, I tried very hard. In my first term in academics, I was 3.00. Second term, I said, no, I have to do something better. I really slogged hard, and my CGPA was 2.38. Finally, I managed with a GCI and passed out with 3.47, a third division. So, there have been a lot of setbacks. Now it looks easy once somebody says that you have done an MTech from IIT Kharagpur, or at IIM Lucknow, again, I got a trophy. So it looks good, but then there's a lot of things which are not visible from outside. But then, as I said, Army pushed me along, gave me a lot of opportunities, be it, jumping out of aircraft, being a paratrooper, be training the Army teams for ultra marathons, or being in doing MTech from IIT Kharagpur, then appointment in simulator development division. So all my grooming has been attributed to the Army, and whatever I say, it can never be enough to express my gratitude towards the organization I've been.
Truly said, sir. I think the smiling face will never reveal the sores and burns you have on your foots in this entire journey. And while you spoke about those NDA days, I could relate that our viewers will be able to relate to those marathon practices, our short learning how to wear those shorts and getting those khakis taught. And I still remember after every marathon, we used to feel as second and third termers. The entire squadron used to blame the second and third termers, even if the squadron has come 14th or 15th. So that was something which has been ingrained into us, that we have to keep striving for the best. And thanks, sir. Thanks for your response. Over to Jyoti.
Sure. Thank you, Gun Roberts. As you rightly said, Army or defense is not just a job, it is a way of life, and you surely took us through that journey of yours. But what's interesting is what you did after you came out of defense forces. You took a path which a lot of people don't really think of, especially from the defense forces, and that was the path of getting into entrepreneurship. So we would really like to know how did it come across, and how has been your journey so far, and would you like to talk more about your company and give us more details about what Boots and Crampons is all about?
Yeah, so this question is very close to my heart. I fail to understand why don't people from the defense forces take up entrepreneurship. In my case, it wasn't easy, but then yes, now I look back and see, there's nothing better than that for a defense officer, and I'll tell you why. First of all, in my life, the funda has been not able to know what I want to do, but then knowing what I don't want to do. For example, as I said, after my 12th, I knew, I was not too good in studies. So I thought, I'll get into the physical aspect as well. That's how NDA came. In NDA, I realized, I was not good in mechanical drawing or engineering drawing, whatever you call it. So I said, I'll not get into that. Not in India, in the engineering. So after CME, you reach MCME, and then you decide that you have got to do mechanical or electronics. So I said, let me do electronics because engineering, drawing and all was not my cup of tea. So I kept on removing things which I didn't want to do, so that's how it's like, in objective type, you have 4 options. You don't know which one is right, but you know what is wrong, so you keep removing that and then you come out to the final solution. So that's how it happened to me once I was leaving the army. So there was one seminar like this, the way we are doing it now. Now it's online. It was offline and we were doing in Gurgaon.
Hello.
Yeah. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So there was this gentleman, he was sitting next to me in that seminar, and I was telling him that about my journey, and he was saying, okay, you have done Everest, you have done so many things. I said, yes, sir. So things went on. After lunch, this guy, I realized he was the guest speaker for the day. He went onto the podium and then he blasted me off. He said, Faujis are the most stupid people because they don't feel scared once they are in Kargil. They are fighting bullets. They are doing their attachments and all. But once they have to leave the army, they feel scared. He said, how will I do it? Because I told him that, sir, I'm feeling scared doing something on my own because I'm not sure how it would pan out. And, inhibitions are there. And this guy, as I said, blasted me off on the stage saying that there are people here who have done Everest. They never thought about their family once they were posted in the LC. They never thought about their family once they joined the army. And now once everything is in place, they don't want to start something on their own. So that really hit me. I said, he's right, at certain extent. And another thing which not many people know is that I was appearing for the Amazon Web Services interview after my I am Lucknow stint. So there being the placement head, I said, this is a good opportunity. Let me give it a shot. So stages went by. So there's a stage wherein there was some global head or someone from Singapore, some foreigner. He was taking my interview, and that was scheduled to be for 45 minutes. Within 5 minutes, he said, sir, you are not meant for this. Let me tell you, come what may. At the end of the day, whatever you may say, you have to sit behind a desk for 8 to 10 hours per day in front of a laptop. And I think, you'll not be doing justice for whatever you've done. And then I realized, enough is enough. Let me give it a shot. So that was my entrepreneurship journey, and I strongly feel that, Fauji's, you must try it out. There's no harm, even if you're not making money, at least you'll feel happy what you're doing. And anybody who's leaving Forge just for the sake of money, I tell you, please join back. Money is not the thing you would leave Forge. Not at all. There has to be some better reason. If money is a reason, you're going to regret it badly. That's my take.
Thank you, Colonel Romil. That was quite an interesting journey. Somebody really, there's a word in Hindi, jhajjod dena. So somebody really did that to you, and you could really identify what is that underneath that lies within you, and that was the spirit of entrepreneurship. So more power to you and to Brooks and Crampons. And I'll now, have the dais to Abhishek sir to ask the next question, please.
Thanks, Jyoti. So I think I echo with what Romil sir said, that if people are planning to leave forces and move into corporate world, their main reason should be yearn to learn rather than yearn to earn. So thanks, Romil sir. As Jyoti said, it was jhajjhodne wala answer, and we are actually, I have goosebumps listening to you. I could relate to one of our professor, Colonel Dr. Saral Mukherjee in IIM Ahmedabad. He used to speak about strategy, and he said that strategy is all about closing doors. The way you realize that every step, what is something which you're not good at, and then you decided your path ahead, is what was your strategy and what has led you to this. So coming to my question, sir, what are the skill sets which are imbibed in our defense tenure, which helps in entrepreneurship? And what are the skill sets a veteran entrepreneur needs to pick up before he gets full-time into this entrepreneurship journey?
Okay, so as I said, we are more apt for entrepreneurship. Reason being, first is a risk-taking ability. Once you are posted somewhere, you know that you could die. Being if you're posted in field or somewhere, you're fighting bullets. I'm talking about my attachment with the infantry. That time, that top PJ was there, so things could have turned anyways. You know how things are at LC. So if you have capability of taking risk to that level, then money is nothing. Money may, if you lose also, how does it matter? You're not losing life. Everything, you have a pension or you have a lot of experience. Have faith in yourself. So the kind of background you have in Forge is amazing. People might not acknowledge it, that what they are bringing to the table, but then it's immense. I tell you that. Second is adaptability. Every 2 years you keep posted, getting posted. 2 years is on a maximum. At times 1 year. At times, not just you, your whole family. At some station you'll have a 10-bedroom house. At some station you'll be in one room with a kitchen alongside. Like what happened with me in IIT Kharagpur. We had one room, wife, kids, everybody there. My wife was carrying. So that kind of adaptability is there in picking up new skills. You're not scared to learn something. So and then basics like honesty. A Fauji is there. You understand that first and foremost is the way we say apni izzat, unit ki izzat, desh ki izzat. So these things will always remain in you, even if you feel that you're not bringing much to the table. So the kind of grooming you have had, be rest assured you are the best outside as well, right? So pitch yourself accordingly, and whatever positives you have, whatever learnings you have, keep them with you, keep them in good state. Small things like punctuality. We understand that if Abhishek, if Kulshreshtha is told that we have got to be here at this time, we've got to be here. There's no doubt, there's no cross checking. 5 minutes pehle ki, sir, this time is the meeting. We know this is an unwritten rule. So these kind of disciplined lifestyle will make sure that whatever you do, be it in a corporate and be it in your own work, you'll excel. And as I always feel, either you fulfill somebody else's dream or you fulfill your dream. It's your choice in the end. So, you pick your call. It should not be that after 20 years, 30 years, you realize you had an opportunity, because there's a big opportunity. You're leaving the army, you can decide now. If you don't decide now, I've seen people saying that, after 3 years, I'll leave. I'm working only for 3 years, 3 saal, khoob lagayenge, and then we'll leave. Doesn't happen. I've not seen anyone, Kulshreshtha is maybe an exception. Generally, people don't have this kind of, because once they get in comfort zone, first they're getting good paycheck, you get, bonded to that paycheck.
True, sir. As you very well brought out, I think I also used to think that after some years I'll get into entrepreneurship, and many times I've taken the decision, but was pulled back by, as you said, paychecks and other reasons. But yes, finally I moved out, and I'm still figuring out what venture I will build. So one thing about that, sir. Second thing, I think what you spoke about, the skill sets which veterans bring for entrepreneurship. I think in our previous webinar, we spoke about why veterans are scared. So veterans are scared because they have very limited awareness about the corporate world or the outside world. And that's just because they've been very passionate in the veteran experiences, and they haven't spent much time learning about the outside world. So, and if you go back to your NDA days, training days, in all our briefings, in all our trainings, one thing which used to be coming first was khabar dushman ki, and then the entire plan used to flow out. Even our apni khabar bhi baad mein batate the, pehle khabar dushman ki. Now in this pursuit of transitioning, veterans have very limited information, and I'm thankful to you the way you brought out. You will exactly bringing out some level of information which will add on to their pursuit of this transition, sir. Thanks a lot. Over to Jyoti.
Well, one sentence which stayed with me before we ask the next question is that either decide to live your own dream or live somebody else's dream. So that stuck with me, and anybody who's planning to be an entrepreneur can definitely think on these lines. Well, the next question for you, sir, is that what would you recommend the do's and don'ts for transitioning veterans? I mean, we do understand that there is no recommended template that will help transitioning veterans to identify their paths. But generally, if you have to tell veterans what are some of the do's and don'ts that they should look at, what would those be?
That's a great one, I tell you, because it's very, very relevant to the people, and I've seen a lot of veterans faltering on that, including very close friends of mine. First of all, have faith in your skill set. Whatever you've learned in 10 years of service, 5 years, 20 years, that does not matter. Those values, you should feel proud of that. That is one. Second is, don't be desperate. In my case, I've seen a lot of my postmates or other people, 18 mein they've got a job, so they are used to getting that salary. It does not matter if you're not getting salary for 1 month, 2 months. I've had my postmates who have not had a salary for 1.5 years. Absolutely fine. In civil, people take sabbatical. They leave the job, go on a bike ride for 1 year, 1.5 years, come back, pick up a job. So don't get into that panic mode. यार क्या होगा? सुबह उठे, यूनिफॉर्म नहीं पहन रहे, सैलरी नहीं आ रही, अब क्या होगा? Nothing is going to happen. World is not going to fall if you're not getting a salary. Be clear on that. You should be smart enough to plan well in advance for your finances. That's a different thing. In my case, I live a very frugal lifestyle. Let me be very frank. I don't own a car. I had a car, I've sold it off. I don't feel the need now. I have my dad's car. We are in good terms with my parents, my wife, kids, everybody. We stay together. So it's good to be frugal. There's no point showing off. At times people do that. Your wish, you want to spend time traveling abroad, whatever, up to you. But then I think it's okay to live within limited means. I'm not saying, don't spend, but then be sensible. And other thing you need to do is that, once you get a job, make sure you want to do that job. It's not that you're getting it, so you should get it. You should connect with that. Think long term. Don't think that, 1 or 2 months I'll do here, 6 months I'll transition. Up to you. You want to do that, but then I would not recommend. Never get into that desperation mode. I've seen a lot of people saying, looking for a job or whatever that thing is on LinkedIn. People may not like it, but I hate it. Somebody who does that, it means your desperation. Please don't do it. Interact with people, interact with veterans. At times people say that veterans, they are not good or they'll not help you. Believe you me, before I joined IIM Lucknow, there were 3 veterans who said, Romil, you can join us whenever you want. And only veterans could do that because they understand what values another veteran would bring. So stay connected, interact with a lot of veterans. They really help you out because gain from their experiences, their mistakes. And other thing which I was told by one of my juniors in squadron was that, sir, don't undersell. And I didn't know the meaning. What is undersell? So he told me, he said, sir, you should know what you deserve and you should get for that. Don't think that, if you are expecting a package of 30, somebody says, 10 and you say, okay, I'm not getting anything. Let me go for 10. I'll say go for 5, but then it should be something which you want to do. I'll give you a beautiful example. 3 days back, there's one gentleman, he calls me up. He's a retired colonel earning about a package of 40 lakhs per year. And he calls me up and says, Romil, I want to leave my job. I want to join a company. And this guy, I've never spoken. I don't know who he is, nothing at all. And I was zapped. I said, sir, what do you expect? He said, Romil, believe me, I don't expect anything in return. He said, I'll be with you for 1 year. I'll build up your business. I want to do this. If after 1 year you find value with me, then I'll join you as in your company. Otherwise, I'll do it without anything. That was because the kind of life he was having in corporate was horrible. He said he has got a youngster as CEO who only wants that I should go and salute to him every day morning and properly, proper salute kind. And his ego is happy. And he said, he cannot do that. So this is the kind of life you can expect at times from different corporates. I'm not saying everybody's like that. But then you have to find a balance, whether you want to chase money or you want to chase your happiness. And if you can merge both, nothing like it. So these are the kind of do's I would suggest that, you should follow what you want to do. This is a good opportunity. After 10 years, you will regret if you not follow your heart and, keep chasing about money and all. So be wise in your decision. Don't undersell. Don't be desperate. So these are things we should be very careful once you are getting this transition.
Thank you, Colonel Romil. I'll highlight some of the points that you have said for do's and don'ts for everybody to take a note. The first, obviously, is that whatever values that you've learned in defense, do imbibe them in the corporate world. Second, very importantly, and you've stressed it over and over again, is don't be desperate, whether it is looking for a job or going for a salary negotiation. Don't be desperate. Third is definitely plan in advance for your finances so that you can, if you have a period where you are not without a salary, you're not hand to mouth and you've planned for it in advance. Related to that was the next point about being frugal. So if you can manage with the basic minimum, please try and do that because it will see you through the difficult times. Next point you made was about look for long-term jobs initially. It will give you some amount of stability rather than quickly transitioning in 6 months or so. Very important point about interaction, networking with veterans, because the kind of camaraderie we share with them, is unmatched. So you can, I mean, you gave your example of how 3 people asked you to join them. Uh, Very important point about don't undersell. This is relevant whether in Forge or otherwise. We often tend to not know our real worth and what we deserve, and
Yeah.
we undersell ourselves. And the last and the most important, the Ikigai principle, which you have led, is always understand and balance whether you want money or happiness. And if you can balance both of it, nothing like it. Truly words of wisdom. And I'm sure our participants must have loved this. Let's move on to the next section and let's have Abhishek sir ask the next question. I'm sure this is exciting for all of us so far. Over to you, Abhishek sir.
Thanks, Jyoti. Thanks a lot, sir. I'm a big Bollywood fan, and while you were speaking about your being frugal, I was reminded of a famous Bollywood dialogue. I don't remember which movie, but it said कि शेर जब 2 कदम पीछे लेता है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि वो डर गया है. इसका मतलब ये है कि वो छलांग मारने वाला है. And that's what you did. And that's what we will tell veterans, that firstly, be frugal, plan your finances well so that you can live your ikigai. At the same time, if you're taking a break after hanging your uniform and not doing anything, maybe you're planning and preparing for what you want to do as in an entrepreneurship. So I think, thanks, sir. Thanks, words of wisdom. I'll move to the next question. Though you have answered it partially, but I will still try to understand more from you. Why should veterans look at entrepreneurship as a career option?
Right. So, again, the bottom line remains the same. Entrepreneurship is something which, will give you a lot of satisfaction in life. There's just one life, you believe in, everybody knows it, but everybody kinds of, want to ignore that, they would do sometime later. So it's important to live what you want to do in life. I somehow I fail to understand why don't people do that. Is it money which is pulling you back? Is it, your family pressure or something? So you got to have faith, that what you want to do, you will be able to do that. People are scared of failures. Let me be very candid. People are scared of failing. In my case, let me give you an example. October, I retired. This is the first month I got my pension. For past 7-8 months, I was, traveling, taking expeditions. I didn't get any pension. I didn't take any money from my company. The company, they could afford, taking salaries and all, but we said, whatever we're getting, let's reinvest. So it's important that you plan your things well. Generally, people I've seen my own, again, I'll give example of my own postmates. After leaving the army, they realize, yaar, ab kya karna hai? How can you be so ignorant? Keep interacting with seniors. Forge mein, what happens till the time we are in Forge, everybody's together. The moment you leave the army, there's a big vacuum. That is the time you should connect with veterans. And any veteran worth his salt, will obviously help you out. If me and Kucheshta are in the same unit or we don the same uniform, it's our responsibility to help each other. There'll be few black sheeps, ignore it, those are everywhere. So it's important to, take help, seek guidance, and you'll bring a lot of value to what you are doing, because sooner or later, if you love what you do, you'll obviously succeed. So there's no reason to be scared. If you keep doing it, if you love doing something, you'll obviously excel in that. That's what I've realized. As I said, I was horrible in running, but I used to love doing it. So that's why it took me time, but then I was finally able to do that. And once you taste success, there's no other feeling with that. You'll obviously start pushing more and more in other fields as well. So it's important that, take the path which you want to do. So I could give 10 or 100 reasons, but then bottom line remains the same. Like you should take entrepreneurship because, you've got to live your dreams. Why shouldn't you? You may give 100 reasons, but in your hearts of heart, there's only one life. You've got to live it. If you keep getting bothered about what people would think that you're sitting at home, why the whole world will think that, he was getting 2 lakh, 3 lakh rupees per month and now sitting at home, not earning, leave it. Yeah. They are living their lives. You don't focus your energy on them. You focus on your own self. Keep growing on your own. And the amount of learning you do once you leave Forge is tremendous. Every day, there's a lot of hard work. It's not that, you're starting your own venture so you can relax. No, that doesn't happen. I'm looking after the finances of my company. I'm looking after the branding. I'm looking after, my social media, everything you've got to do. But then at the end of the day, you are happy doing it, because the way I was saying, I'm wearing this shirt because I want to wear it. It's not that I am working for Amazon. Amazon wants me to sit with this shirt. No, I want to do it because that's how I connect to my uniform. This is my uniform now. So that's my way of handling it. Everybody has got their own, reasons for joining.
Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot. I could relate to that one life mantra. As someone has said that there can be many reasons why you should not do a thing, but there's only one reason why you should do a thing, and that's because you want to do it. And that's something, as you said, if you want to do it, if you want to live this life, fulfill your dreams, go about it. Second thing which you spoke about, veterans are ready to help each other. That's what we have started. I have started this platform to support veterans in their smooth transition to corporate world. I still remember I have been to corporate career for around 10, 11 years. If I have to call someone before 9 a.m., I used to drop a message, can I call you up or not? But the first day I spoke to Col Romil, it was 7 a.m. and I didn't even think once whether he will like it or not. I knew he's a true Fauji, and I'm sure he must be back from his morning run, and it won't be bad to disturb him. Thank you, sir. Over to Jyoti.
Thank you, Abhishek sir and Col Romil. Now the next question that I have is, so you're part of the entrepreneurship journey, and you're part of a larger ecosystem of the startup world, right? So what would be your message to the larger startup world in terms of the benefits that veterans bring to the table as entrepreneurs? So the point here is that one wants to be an entrepreneur, that's great, but the world outside also needs to understand, in terms of funding or in terms of, giving an opportunity to somebody as a co-founder in as an entrepreneurship journey. Why should they do that? So what is your message to the larger startup and entrepreneurship ecosystem, that why should they support Fauji's for being entrepreneurs, and what is in it for them?
See, that's again a very pertinent question, because Faujis are not, related to the business aspect. We are not well clued up, which is for obvious reasons, because that has never been our focus. But, be it someone having belief in you as a venture capitalist or someone who wants to fund you, they won't do it because of the business you're doing. They'll do it for the person you are, the values you carry, which nobody can doubt. So the outside world values Boots and Crampons or any other company which is managed by veterans, because they know I come with values. Which values I'm talking about is, integrity, values like honesty. I'll never ditch them, even if I'm not getting a salary, as I said, for past 8 months from my company, that doesn't mean my employees are not getting. My employees are going to get the salary even if I'm not getting, because that is what we call the ownership kind of a thing, which comes automatically to Forge. It's like I was telling someone, once a young officer gets commissioned to a unit, everybody in the unit believes in him. The Jawan who has not been with him ever, the JC who is never with him, never seen him training, never seen him, doing anything, is ready to go with him as a, platoon leader or a company commander for various patrols, risk his life. Because this officer, though he's, lack of experience, but he understands the values he's getting, the responsibility he's having. So if somebody is investing in a Fauji kind of a venture, he understands the kind of values and the kind of, work ethics I'm going to bring in the company. The culture which is going to get built up. I'm not only after money. I'm the one which is delivering value to the people. For anything which a Fauji is doing, they'll first believe that, whatever they're doing is for a social cause. It's doing for benefit of others and not just for money making. Because money can never be your source of, starting a business. For any work which you're doing, the cause has to be, building up a better world. Be it, retail, be it whatever you're doing. So the values which Fauji brings, which world needs to know, is that, honesty, integrity, and social reasons, which are ingrained in us automatically with the kind of training we are doing, with the kind of experience, with the kind of exposure we have had in our various postings.
Thank you so much. That was pretty insightful, and I'm sure the message goes out loud and clear to the startup ecosystem and the entrepreneurship world, that do look out for Faujis who have the fire in their belly to start something new. They will bring a lot to the table, and definitely that will be a transformational point in both of their lives. Just to keep it with little light, we have been, talking about some very serious stuff. Just want to understand, so what is the secret behind your fitness and your never-ending energy and smile? I mean, paratrooper, climbing Everest, running marathons. You seem to be never running out of energy. So, what's the secret behind your smile and your energy, sir?
See, the bottom line remains the same. You're happy what you're doing.
We would love to know the recipe about you eat, your diet plan also.
For sure. So no, it's bottom line is if you love what you do, everything revolves around that. Like I have a talk day after tomorrow on Instagram for some SSP kind of a session. So they were asking me send us some photograph of in uniform or something. So I was seeing, and the best photograph I could find was just before my jump I was wearing a parachute, which is kind of a heavy thing, and then the smile was coming automatically. It's not that I am posing for something. It's a kind of a candid pose somebody else is clicking. But then if you're happy, it shows automatically. If your work will show that this guy is passionate about doing something. A lot of time people call me up that we want to fund your company, Boots and Crampons. We think it's going to go do good, and we want to invest in that. And my simple thing is that we don't want investment. They say that why are you going taking treks, hire people, do that. We said I left Forge not because to earn money or set up a business. I left Forge because I love doing this thing like climbing mountains. So if I'm loving it, that means the people who are going to climb with me are going to love it. If they're going to love it, they're going to spread the word all around. So all my expeditions are, with the ones who have already been with us and through their family, friends, relatives. So the word of mouth which carries, no marketing can, ever compensate that. If Kulshrestha is running a workshop like this, he keeps publicizing everywhere around the world. That's not going to help. But then if the people who are listening to this and they say that, they attended a workshop and they enjoyed it, automatically, the footfall is going to be more. So it's just that word of mouth which is there, which will carry you to places, and if Kulshrestha is enjoying doing it, it's visible in his face. It's visible in all of us because we connect with it and we enjoy doing it. So we'll always be happy. That's the given.
Thank you, and never let that smile die, and let it inspire hundreds of people. So now we have a lot of participants who've joined us today for this session, and I'm sure they have had very good insights into your life and a lot of tips to take back. We now open the house to all of you to ask any questions. You can unmute yourself and ask a question, and I'm sure Colonel Romil will be happy to answer them. We still have about a good amount of time to take the questions. I think there's one which has come. Personal quality, I'm sure, hold a lot of value in the outside world. But do they actually matter for an employer unless he's convinced that I can help him grow his business? Do we actually stand a chance without upskilling? This has come from Satbir Singh, sir. So he wants to know that personal values are great, and do they actually matter to an employer? And is he convinced that we can help? I mean, the transitioning veteran can help their business, or do we need to have upskilling?
See, whatever I said, don't take it in a manner that upskilling is not required. If you're entering a business and if you don't follow that, if you don't have that skill set which is required for that, then obviously it's not going to help. So you need to have that requisite skills. Okay, let me give you an example. I was doing an Everest base camp trek in April this year. So there was this guy, he came along with us for the trek, young guy, Fauji's son, and he once during the trek he said, sir, enough is enough. I'm going to switch my job. It's not going to work for me the way it's happening. I said, fine. 2 days back, he sends me a WhatsApp saying that, sir, these are the 4 companies I've been shortlisted. So I'm yet to decide, which one to join, and I'm in a dilemma. And I said, it's COVID time. Everybody's saying that, there are no jobs. How did you manage it? He said, sir, this is the best time. There's so many people who are offering jobs, but then problem is you don't have the requisite skill sets to join them. Right? So be clear in your mind. Job is not there for people who don't follow that, who don't have that requisite skill set. If you have it, then that Fauji background will surely boost your graph up. But then it's not that only Fauji values will help or only skill set will help. You need to have a good blend of both. And I'm sure with both the skill sets, you'll be able to excel.
Thank you, Sadhbir, for that question. And I hope you got a good answer to that and you will follow that. Any more questions? We still have some time before we wrap the session up.
Morning, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, Arjun,
Yes,
you're
yes.
always audible.
Good morning, sir.
Hi, buddy.
Sir, can you just tell me what are the 3 mistakes you have made when you were starting your entrepreneurship journey?
3 mistakes I made. See, I'm still starting. It's not much. We started in trekking in October and we've been doing well. 3 mistakes. This is too early, you know. I think maybe down the line, once I look back, I would understand the mistakes we made.
Okay, let me refine it, sir.
Right.
Can you tell me, sir, if, for example, if I'm a veteran, I want to start something off, and you feel that there is something which you have come across and which you feel that this could have been done in a much better way.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
so I'll tell you, I've understood now. So what I feel is that, you know, the clarity which I had later on should have been much earlier. You know, many a times, once I look back, I think I should have started as a side hustle much before what I did. You know, I could have started about a year back or during my IM days. I was helping the company out, but then not as vigorously as I should have. So that side hustle of helping boots and crampons before I left the army, I should have done much better in that aspect, for sure. That was one. Apart from that, it's just that, you know, everything takes time to build up, and that's why my clarity of starting this venture came up much later than, as I said, you know, I should have done maybe a year or 1.5 years before that.
okay, sir. Anything with respect to financial planning, sir?
No, I can probably say I was, you know, financially pretty comfortable. One reason was that, as I said, I was frugal. I was not spending unnecessarily. Second is that, you know, my finances were, you know, kind of okay. I didn't have a big legacy, but then being in Forge, I never used to overspend or so finances were very well in place. So that's why I could take the decision without any doubt. There were a lot of support from family. You know, they never questioned my decision, because there was always a thing that, you know, you've done IIT and that to information technology, you could take a good corporate IT kind of a job after, you know, and getting updated. But then that was never the case. Things were kind of okay and finances were in place, and what I wanted to do, I knew I could afford it for some time.
Abhishek sir, Jyoti sir, I would just take the liberty of asking one more question to Romil sir.
Yeah, go on.
Romil sir, can you tell me what is important? Building a network and then building a company, or building a company and then building a network? Social media network.
Building a network and building a company. Building
Do
a network.
do you build a network first and then you go into the aspect of building a company, so that, you know, you have, what do you say, a sort of a leverage? Or do you build a company first and then you look towards expanding and marketing a company? Which, because in your case, I've seen right from IM Lucknow days, sir, you have been quite active with respect to speaking engagement sessions and, you know, making yourself visible.
Right.
Boots and Crampons came in later.
Absolutely.
So was it part of the strategy?
See, my aim was to have a brand, you know, rather than building a good CV or something. I wanted to have a brand wherein people associate Romil with something, you know, they should feel happy. They should feel that, you know, this person, you can believe, you know, he stands for certain values. So I wanted that that name ka brand should be there, you know. And then had it not been Boots and Crampons, it could have been something else, you know, or some third thing, fourth thing, fifth thing. But then your name should ring with people as something which they want to hear, that, you know, anything positive should come once they listen to your name. So that brand is very important, that, you know, you pick up any corporate job or any, you know, own venture or whatever, but then your name has to be something which comes with a lot of respect, lot of values, and people should not feel ki yaar jahan naam suna ye gadbad hai, maza nahi aaya type, you know. Nothing negative should come. So network is, you know, very important. And, you know, in Forge, because of our, you know, kind of work profile we have, we are not much into outside. But then I was lucky. I had a lot of physical connections before, I was leaving, and then that helped once I connected on LinkedIn. And then LinkedIn, I see, it's such a great platform. Somehow people are not leveraging it enough. I think it has still a lot of potential. It's damn underrated still. So you should do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Arjun. Yeah, and it's a very valid point that once they know that Romil is associated with brand, so that thing carries on. Those values will carry on to the company which you're starting. So it's important.
Right. That's all.
Thanks, bye.
Thanks, sir. Thanks. Does anyone have any other query? Okay. Meanwhile, while people are writing down their queries, I'll just add on to what sir said. See, branding is something which is very, very important in the outside world. As Romil sir said, someone told him, don't undersell yourself. So no one knows whether you're underselling or overselling till the time you have created your own brand, and then you know your own value. But at the same time, it is very important to learn how to very subtly build your brand. Like Romil sir was doing his I Am Lucknow course, but he was aware that he is going to join in his company, and he was doing activities where he was not directly selling his about his company, but he was subtly building his brand about his experience as a paratrooper, as a mountaineer, which when he launched Boots and Crampons, he was in that ideal space where people were suddenly looking up to him. So there's a lot of art and science behind creating visibility and doing that branding activities. Okay, I think we come to the end of this session. Sir, it was a great motivational session for all of us. Means, though I feel that I'm a veteran, I have done 10 years in service, but I felt like a kid. I was looking, while you were speaking, I was looking at you like a lost puppy, just trying to understand why I have lost that passion. And to be very honest, the passion which you display, it's just infectious. And I'm actually feeling that I will just go out and do something. Evening, I'll go for a run and maybe start losing weight also. So thanks a lot for this session, sir. Thanks a lot for the insights. I'm sure they will be very, very important for all the veterans and even the viewers who will look at this recording later on. Thank you, viewers. Thanks a lot for your time. We will be uploading this video on the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on the LinkedIn page. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Romil sir.